Ma'am,
Yali ho,
we are live.
and a very warm welcome to everyone joining us in this wonderful evening. I am Veena Tiwari from Narmada Cadet Public School, Bharuch, your host and moderator. Welcome you all for today's session on Hope, Key to Happiness. Letting ourselves experience the joy of hope and anticipation of our dreams and goals is a key in allowing the creation of daily happiness. The pandemic can be the moment the world pushes back against fear and isolationism and turns instead towards hope, solidarity, and a shared sense of global community. Building the sense of hope in all of us, today we have our special guest, Dr. Shabina Keshwani. I heartily welcome you, ma'am, and I feel gratitude that you have took out your precious time in joining us and motivating us. Before we start with our session, I would like to give a brief introduction to Keshwani. She is an educationist and a clinical psychologist. She is also a director head of international education, Government of India. Dr. Shabina Keshwani is engaged in an education industry from past 26 years, exhibited dedicated leadership role as a principal, education officer, head of schools, motivational speakers, and a teacher trainer for several years. Highly experienced in both national and international curriculums. She has been on an examination panel and has served as an examination officer of Cambridge Board for 4 years, an active and passionate volunteer with Aga Khan Development Network, Teach India, and many other NGOs. As a clinical psychologist, teacher trainer, and an educator, her strength lies in managing emotional quotient along with real life situations. She always introspects on how can you make this world a beautiful place to live in. Talking about her achievements and awards, in 2019, she received Inspiring Speaker Award from World Education Summit, LX and DL, that is Digital Learning. In 2017, Innovation in Education Award for Design Thinking from Times of India. Again, in 2012, she got Lifelong Learner Award from SNDT University. In 2003, she received Best Educator Award from Government of India. Now, taking no more time, I would request ma'am to share her thought. Please, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Veenaji. Thank you. I'm thankful to Calorex Bharuch Public School and the entire institution and the management and the principal, Madam Aarti Dua and Veenaji for giving this wonderful opportunity. Today's session is about hope, the key to happiness. Let us begin with the objective of the session. The session objective is how to be happy and keep our hope alive in the life situations. Second objective is to discuss some of the techniques and strategies to remain hopeful and be happy. Optimism cannot solve every problem, but a smile always helps. There is always hope in dark times. One of the couple shared, "My son is getting married in the first week of June in US. I said, US has banned the flights from India. Couple responded, still we have a month to go and we are hopeful. Everything will be all right and things will move to normal. Pray for us. Mother said, I visualize the wedding, see ourselves live in it as attending in person. What a way to go. Look at the hope couple depicted. Eric Burns says, and I quote, if you want to know how rich you are, count all that what you have, which money cannot buy. Can money buy happiness? Can money buy physical and mental health, respect and relationships? Can money buy hope? We all have to earn that. Look at the present scenario. In today's time of crisis, where schools are on virtual mode, everyone mostly operating from online and from home, all of this happening now from more than a year, how to maintain peace and harmony? Be balanced in our emotional and social well-being, to be happy and hopeful. Let's take an example and understand. In ancient times, a king had a boulder placed on a roadway, a big stone. He then hid himself and watched to see if anyone would move the boulder out of the way. Some of the king's wealthiest merchants and courtiers came by and simply walked around it. Many people loudly blamed the king for not keeping the roads clear, but none of them did anything about getting the stone out of the way. A peasant then came along carrying a load of vegetables. Upon approaching the boulder, the peasant laid down his burden and tried to push the stone out of the road. Why he did that? He thought about others. He felt that they may face hurdle and get into devastating danger. So after much pushing and straining, he finally succeeded. After the peasant went back to pick up his vegetables, he noticed a purse lying in the road where the boulder had been. The purse contained many gold coins and a note from the king explaining that the gold was for the person who removed the boulder from the roadway. The moral of the story is, every obstacle we come across in life gives us an opportunity to improve our circumstances. And while the lazy complain, the others are creating opportunities through their kind hearts, generosity, and willingness to get things done. He was very happy to make clear path for everyone. In general, happiness means that we are pleased with ourselves and our choices and with the person that we are. When schools shut across India as part of a national lockdown in March 2020 due to the COVID-19 pandemic, one NGO jumped at the chance to turn disaster into opportunity. Based in Chennai, the southern capital of Tamil Nadu state, Nalanda Way Foundation envisioned that thousands of school-going children stuck at home for an indefinite and unforeseeable future would start to feel anxious and restless. This would in turn affect their mental health, hope, and happiness. Nalanda's Way's solution was to use its knowledge and expertise in art-based education to provide children, young people, and even parents and teachers with ways to cope during these uncertain times. Dial a stress reliever activity to be resilient, hopeful, and happiness was being organized. Nalanda's interventions targeted 15 and 16-year-old students who were meant to be taking their 10th grade school leaving examinations, which some of them were postponed and many of them were cancelled. Nalanda Way partnered with the Tamil Nadu state government and UNICEF to devise a program that would reduce the stress of students who were stuck in limbo. Since a majority of the children were from marginalized background and did not own smartphones, Nalanda Way could not rely on delivering this initiative via online platform. Instead, it worked around this challenge response system, which allowed students to ring a toll-free number that would automatically return their call. Upon answering the phone, students listened to a new recorded story lasting up to 6 minutes each day over 30 days. Upon answering the phone, students listened to a new recorded story lasting up to 6 minutes each day over 30 days. The narrative revolved around characters of the same age who experienced similar challenges. Through the art of storytelling, young listeners picked up ideas and strategies on how to cope with mental health issues and completed accompanying exercises after each daily recording and generate the hope and happiness. Founder Sriram V. Iyer says more than 30,000 students participated in this program called Take It Easy. Be hopeful. One boy in particular was so dedicated, he would wake up at 4 in the morning to borrow a neighbor's phone. A child laborer, he listened to the stories every day and completed the exercises before heading to work at 6. This is a kid who can't speak English, but was suddenly talking about locus of control or being mindful and journaling. I was really touched. We were able to create something interesting and innovative that a child with no excess, but plenty of determination, plenty of hope, found a way to use the resource for his own benefit. It is exercise alone, physical or mental, that supports the spirits and keeps the mind in vigor, said by Marcus Tullis Ciego. People's positive words, hope, and inspiring stories have long-lasting effects on our brain, and that's what positive psychology supports and narrates. As a group of frogs were traveling through the woods, two of them fell into a deep pit. When the other frogs crowded around the pit and saw how deep it was, they told the two frogs that there was no hope left for them. What they said? They told the two frogs that there was no hope left for them. However, the two frogs decided to ignore what the others were saying, and they proceeded to try and jump out of the pit. Despite their efforts, the group of frogs at the top of the pit was still saying that they should just give up, that they would never make it out. Eventually, one of the frogs took heed to what the others were saying and he gave up, falling down to his death. But the other frog continued to jump as hard as he could. Again, the crowd of frogs yelled at him to stop the pain and just die. He jumped even harder and finally made it out. When he got out, the other frog said, "Did you not hear us?" The frog explained to them that he was deaf. The frog explained he was deaf. He's unable to hear. He thought they were encouraging him the entire time. He thought the other people are always inspiring him, motivating him to move forward. The moral of the story is, people's words can't have a big effect on our lives. People's words can have a big effect on our lives. Think about what we say before it comes out of our mouth. So people's words are very, very effective. The frog who made it to the destination was because of the others' encouragement, hope, and self-determination. During the time of difficulty, I am there. Rely on me for support, for guidance, for resources. Makes a lot of difference. And people get energized, hopeful, and are all set to bear the tough situations. We all have heard about the movie The Pursuit of Happiness, which released in 2006. Based on a true story about a man named Christopher Gardner. Gardner, the hero of the script, had invested heavily in a device known as bone density scanner. He feels like he will be able to sell these devices. However, he was unable to sell well as they are marginally better than X-ray at a much higher price. As Gardner works to make ends meet, his wife leaves him and he loses his apartment. Forced to live out in the streets with his son, Gardner continues to sell bone density scanners while concurrently taking on an unpaid internship as a stockbroker with slim chances for advancement to a paid position. Before he can receive his pay, he needs to outshine the competition through 6 months of training and to sell his device to stay afloat. In this journey through the struggle and trials that single father Chris Gardner has to take, you see the real side of hard work, hope, and integrity. Chris Gardner, played by Will Smith, is just trying to give his son a good home as his on the pursuit of happiness. This move doesn't only show the hard work of a single parent, but it shows that no matter how hard you get pushed down, you should always get up and keep going. I love the strong connection that the father and son roll down in the movie. Actor Will Smith shows his true emotional side during this film, as if he was actually going through the situation occurring in the movie. There couldn't have been a better cast picked for this movie than pain, struggle, love, and hope, seen as real as if you're watching a documentary or someone's life. People were in tears when they were out of the movie theater. Kind of hope we emulated in the extreme demanding time, no complaints, on the top of it, smiling and cheerful. Can we find happiness in hardship? Can we find? Absolutely. Because it has reignited the flame of humanity and goodwill inside people all over the world. Another amazing feature of the pandemic is the adaptability and resilience shown by people in all walks of life. Schools, clubs, or events that could be closed are operating online. Many halls have changed into greengrocers and international conferences have been held online. People are learning new skills. All industries from TV to sport have adjusted and found ways of working under social distancing rules. We are doing that. As we all know, climate change will devastate our planet soon. If we don't change, but the resilience demonstrated in the coronavirus response shows us we are capable of anything. This will be necessary for our survival because it is not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent. It is the one most adaptable to change, Charles Darwin says. Eric Berne defines hope as a positive physical, social, and mental state. The sense of feeling good about ourselves and being able to function well individually or in relationships. The ability to deal with the ups and downs of life, such as coping with challenges and making the most of the opportunities. The feeling of connection to our community and surroundings, having control and freedom over our lives, have a sense of purpose and feeling valued, being engaged in physical activity, display gratitude and thankfulness, perceive life as a wonderful gift from God. Always in a thought process of how can I make this world a more beautiful place to live in. Of course, mental well-being does not mean being happy all the time, and it does not mean that you won't experience negative or painful emotions. You will, such as grief, loss, or failure, which are part of normal life. However, whatever your age, being physically active can help us to lead a mentally healthier life and can improve our well-being. Some commentators have suggested that we are facing an unprecedented crisis in which the human brain is under threat from the modern world, that our love of the latest technology could be turning into a 21st century addiction. We might be wondering why happiness is considered such an important aspect of life, as there are many components of a meaningful life. It appears that life satisfaction, meaning, and well-being can be linked with happiness, but happiness is not necessarily the overarching goal for everyone in life. As you can probably assume from what I said, there is a strong relationship between hope and happiness. Between hope and happiness. When happy people are healthier, have better relationships, make friends more easily, and find more success in life, it's easy to see why happiness and mental health are related. The close tie between hope and happiness is reason enough to make happiness an important priority for parents, educators, researchers, and medical professionals alike, along with the simple fact that we all like to feel happy. If we want to be physically and mentally happy, serve humanity. Do service to humanity by sharing our smile and happiness. It doesn't cost us anything, but it generates hope, it generates happiness. The more we share joy and happiness with people, the more we will receive. Let's end this session by the quote of Mr. Barack Obama, and I quote, "Hope is that thing inside us that insists despite all the evidence to the contrary that something better awaits us, if we have the courage to reach for it and to work for it and to fight for it. Be happy, be cheerful, be hopeful, stay blessed. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Namaste. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for sharing your thought. Hopefully, this year has been filled with opportunity, and we have tried to exercise and strengthen our immunity. Don't forget to pray and always be kind. Try to stay positive and learn to unwind. The story has been written, good wins the end. Prayer for all my family and friends. Thank you so much for joining us. Yali ho.